Oh, so what was I supposed to be doing for the cam?
Just open it up. Where you see your heading like you see mine. Welcome to the show. Let's look at this. When we say the things to help dispel inferiority, regain confidence in our authority. We want to open up all eyes wide set, give it to you in the raw, unfiltered, uncut. From mental health to black wealth, we dismantle all indoctrinations by having the hard conversations. Sometimes you may dispute, except the ones you shouldn't refute. You to buy black to get your dollars back in the community.
Yes.
Right. We are here. We're back. We're back. A break is always helpful at times, but you know you got to keep going because when the system is in play, looking to destroy you, it seems like they never seem to take a break. They working 24/7, so
Always.
we have to put ourselves in a position to where we have to continue to find the energy and time to keep up the hard work so we can find a solution to the problems we may be experiencing. I am your host, Dr. K. Wayne. Host, Minister P. Welcome. How you doing, Mr. P?
Hey, listen, this is the day that the Lord has made. I'm Minister P, bringing you peace and reality. And I'm just saying to all my brothers and sisters, wake up, wake up, wake up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely got to wake up. Today's show is brought to you by Wakana for Life. Keep that same energy. Keep that same energy. Wakana.com, where you can get your health and it's extremely get your wealth together in the same process. Just to get down, taking some of those. I've actually been taking some of those products now.
Okay, let's hear your testimonial.
Well, I'll say this. Somebody I know took the coffee, drunk the coffee, and it's supposed to be the belly trim, and that's been working. I was taking the gummies as far as for fatigue and sleep, and it helped out really good. They worked out real well. You know, you of course
That's great,
continuously taking it, but it works. It works. So yeah, get your CBD products. Wakana, keep that same energy. Wakana. All right, let's get this show rolling. We ain't gonna waste no time.
Here we go.
Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we are back again with the political unrest as you see, and as we have forecast on this show, you're looking at it. We're in the midst of it, and they're running all types of ministry. We talked about the 3-card Molly, that sleight of hand trick game.
Right.
I
And it
mean,
fools everybody. It fools everybody. That's the amazing part about it. You know what's going down, but it still fools everybody.
right. And if you know the rules of that game and you don't know how to, if you don't know how to defeat it, why play it?
Right.
Why play it? If you don't have a solid plan on being outconning the con artist,
Right.
you're definitely going to lose. And that's the same way we see as reference to this political things, this political game that's being played now. It's just it's a shame that we are. You would think that in the mass of 60 years plus, would have moved away from the gameplay, all the the back and forth, the dilly dallying as they call it, the filibustering, all that kind of stuff. Every time we have an issue or problem, it's always seems pop up something that that doesn't seem to fit well. And I had a point, it just slipped my mind, but it was really getting ready to go right into what we were talking about is political unrest. Mainly, well, one of the ones that we were discovering was, you getting headlines, and we knew that was coming. These different individuals that's coming here illegally, as reference to the government, and even if they are coming here legally, here again, they're getting a number one door prize.
Yeah.
Let's make a deal. And they getting a big huge prize as soon as they come through the door. So these are some of the games, and this is actually the time to where our community, our culture, as they and when I'm gonna get to that, speaking of the term culture, because our dear beloved Barack Obama used this term, calling it fake news culturally, and just coming up with, it's never an ending game played with these people. It's like soon the check clears, they get right to it, waste no time. So
I call it a political tennis match because it's back and forth. You're hitting it back and forth, and it's never no solid solution for the people. It's all political game, and political unrest is a good topic for us today, because that's exactly what we are feeling, and uneasiness in society, and you don't feel like there's anything that's solid. Everything is fluid. It goes back and forth with the wind, and that's our political tennis match that we're being involved in today.
Yeah, that goes into, and we'll slow it down just a little so we kind of walk through this. That goes to the executive order that was put out by Joe Biden, President Joe Biden, if you want to call him that, as reference to what was in store for Blacks. And then here's the gameplay that the show, the title of the show is, of course, it's Political Unrest, Symbolic Victories. We can't roll along with symbolic victories because it's just a symbol, and you get learned so many times that you don't gain anything from symbolic victories. Dealing with that, it going into this policy, reference to this executive order, it just shows you another, just more setbacks, more challenges, more things that you have to partake into, as reference to saying, well, hey, here we go again. This Minister P said it, this tennis match that's happening, and mainly in the tennis match, you getting whiplash for the most part, because you kind of back and forth, and overall, yeah, you could be rooting for one of the two potential candidates, teams, yeah, if you want to call them that. But at the end of the day, unless you had put a wager on either one of these teams, you don't receive the silver plate from the tennis match. You don't get this prize belt that they receive. You just get to applaud and rub your neck down after the fact. So,
right.
So,
Dr. K, so listen, this is one of the things that I'm looking at in this political game that's being played right now on the people, is being perpetrated on us. And here's one of the games. There was a campaign promise that said, number one, there will be free college tuition paid. Number two, there will be paid vacation time so that you could take care of sick ones and different things under that. Then there was the the other about the $300 a month care pair package for parents. All of those were supposed to be brought forth in this bill. Now, all of those three items, which really affected what community? Our community. Those three items that would have really just lifted us up and gave us a hand at the table, a seat at the table. Those three have been ripped out of this bill now that is still being proposed by the divisive Democrats. But those three things, that just stood out to me, Dr. K, because it affected our community. Free college. Come on now. Free health care for vacations. Those three items affected us. Now they were ripped out.
Well, here we go again. This is what I explained before, and this is part of that deny and neglect policy that was put out in the 60s. Here we are again. They, again, symbolic victories with no substance behind it. It's just more fluff, rhetoric, and talk. Because again, and then I told somebody, Mr. P, I said, if Joe Biden wins the election, and I didn't say that, it was before he was even candidate. I forecasted. I said, yeah, if Trump does not get back in office, I think if you recall back, I said if Donald Trump don't get back in office, you will see Barack Obama back in office. Not physically by face, but a lot of the policies and things that he was doing. I said he'll get in another 4 years, and he did, because who was his running mate?
Joe Biden.
Okay, so here we are again. Here we went from 8 years of Obama now to 4 more, 12 years now. And just because clearly, if we want to personally talk about Joe Biden, he's not in a sound mind and body to even be a president. Let's just start there. Tripping upstairs. I mean, that would be like me putting my father, who has a mental is having mental trips of remembering stuff and can't figure out forgetting this. And, well, okay, yeah, So and that's not going to be his excuse, because Joe Biden has been the same person for the last, since he's been in the political arena. He hasn't changed. He hasn't changed who he is. Let's just be clear there. This guy's the same guy he's been 40, 50 years ago. So for somebody to say a change, we need to change, yeah, that definitely wasn't the change that we were looking for. But here we are again with all the gameplay. That was my point. So here's the gameplay. Here's another 3-card Molly. It's sad. They say if you fall for something, you'll fall for anything. And here we are again.
If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. That's right.
Yeah. So, here we are being dangled the meats in our face again. Look, folks, look, you'll get Trump again if you don't. Because so you see the political unrest is starting again. So here are the games they're playing. They're saying, hey, whatever you need, well, we'll do this. They have stooped this low. They have brought out, and ladies and gentlemen, I'll get the correct place of where they actually, because I'm always about putting up the facts, putting up the research.
Right. Yeah.
They started a party bus with strippers on it. To start, this is just somewhere in the country, Democratic Party, in one of the states, to get people out to saying, well, to start that, that ride early. Let's get this ride moved early so we can get so we can trick people again into some bull. So they done come. We'll drive you to the polls. Then they got strippers on the pole in this party bus. That's the correlation. Well, and I guess that's supposed to be connected to us, Black folks. Well, since the Black man, if we look at the numbers, didn't come out and drove to vote for the Democrats, well, we'll get them another way. So this is a. Go ahead, Mr. B.
Well, historically, the Black community has voted Democratic, but what we are doing with your show, Dr. K, and other shows like yours and ours, we are informing. Now, listen, the Black community now is being empowered with knowledge. So we're not going to fall for that 3-card Molly anymore. We're becoming educated. We understand that we have our needs in 4 areas: housing, healthcare, education, and economics. And when we are empowered with those frameworks, and we don't see any political party in embracing any of those for us, our vote doesn't go there. Our vote will not go there. We need these 4 areas covered, and we are empowering our Black community to understand housing, healthcare, education, and economics. That's it.
Yeah, I hear you. You're right. None of this fluff thing. The last, excuse me, the last political bus ride, if you want to call it that. That's what say we have to pay attention to detail. They were down somewhere in the South, and they said, well, we're gonna, to get people to the polls, we're gonna give them catfish nuggets, cornbread, and collard greens. That was the last drive, and people fell for it. That's our people. This is. You got to look at the mindset of what's going on with us as reference to what we're doing and why would we stoop to that low level for a political party. And now, up until a certain point, Mr. P, you are right. We started voting democratically, but prior to, Black folks were voting Republican. Dr. King was a Republican. So, for all this, we want to switch now because we're getting so much. You got to understand, under a democratic rule, if you want to, we shouldn't call it that, but this police brutality thing happened under Democratic rule. Let's just start here in Chicago. Who's Democratic mayor before Lori Lightfoot? Rahm Emanuel.
Yeah.
And we already know the storylines behind it. Yeah. We know the storyline behind what was happening with this guy. So, we have to start, now is the time to, we talked about this last time, Minister P, the Crips and the Bloods. I should say, I'm sorry, the Democrat and the Republicans. the two gangsters.
Right. Listen, let me introduce once again to our listeners the definition of politics and then political. Politics is the art or the science of government. It is the methods and tactics involved in managing a state or a government. So that's what politics is all about, the art of governing. Political is this, having a definite organized policy or structure of government in a political nature. Politics is the artful and here it is, the artful and shrewd proceedings, cunning, crafty. Politics is cunning and crafty and shrewd. It's always behind the door scenes and behind the door deals. Coming up, I was a little naive about politics, and I thought that everything was just, I would say, okie dokie, but I didn't understand that everything is shrewd, it is artful, it's behind the door deals. Nothing is ever what it seems on the surface. There's always something going on below the surface. And that's where we come in, and shows like yours come in and expose and opens up all those behind the door deals that's going on so that we can come on out and understand what our needs are.
Yeah. That goes along right what you're saying. Gang. A gang is a group or society of associates, friends, members of a family with defined leadership, internal organizations that identifies with or claim control over territory in a community as they read it. Now, this is Wikipedia. So they're defining their own, just to kind of say, well, look, the gang is a black person, because when you look at their definition, Wikipedia, I should call them Wikipedia, if this correct term, because this is that's what it smells like: street gang, crime, gang crime, gang culture, but they don't direct none of this towards a political venue. Now I'm in office, president. Let's go to war. Let's go to war. I'll drop a bomb and kill all those people. That's not a gang. That's not a criminal act. But I justified it because there's terrorists over there. I mean, come on, people. We got to put two and two together. I don't want to insult anybody's intelligence of our listeners. We are smarter than this. We can't fall for the okie doke again, because again, here we are. I'm gonna say it today. When you start looking at the economic forecast, they're counting us out in the next 40 years. They say blacks will be annihilated because we haven't solidified our people. People have saw our weaknesses because we still keep falling for the 3-card Molly. We keep falling for these tricks, not paying attention to detail. And we just going along with the status quo. So now we'll fall again. If we're standing up for anything, we'll fall for anything. And now in this executive order, and we'll go through this real quick. Let's take a brief look at this.
Yeah, check it out.
Here we go. All right. So as you can see, executive order on advancing racial equality and support of underserved communities. And mainly that, as you just talked about, you just called out, we're the only ones being underserved for the most part. But when you scroll down, look at this minute speak. Look at this. For the purpose of this order, A, the term equality means to consent in a systematic, fair, just, impartial treatment of all individuals, including individuals who have belonged to underserved communities that have been denied such treatments. Now, okay, you'll say, all right, Blacks, Latinos, Indigenous, which this is not true, Native Americans, because if we do the research, people, during Obama's term, he gave this group here, whole time in office, this group got some out of close to $8 billion. These groups here, right here. A lot of these, a part of these groups are not even indigenous. They're not even indigenous. They're false claim to, because when you start looking at the Dawes rolls and some of the, how these people have claim fame to signing some of these treaties, they have connected themselves to being called 5% Indians or 1% Indians, and they've only signed a piece of paper to solidify that they don't have no bloodline to that. So moving on, here again, Asian Americans, I'm trying to figure out what they need as far as being, how are their communities underserved? Can you explain that with me, Minister P? Last time I checked, they got what? What community do they have?
Well, you know, I'm concerned with the Black community right now.
But they saying they equal and fair and underserved.
Yeah.
Underserved communities. Yeah. Last time I checked it, Chinatown, how underserved are they?
They have their own economic system.
Thank you.
They're not even underserved.
Now here's the trick. Here's the trick bag, Minister P. Now this is where they reel us in. This is that. It's that red line, I call it the red line Molly. Because you get on the Chicago red line, you surely to run into somebody to play the 3-card Monty against you. So on a red line, here we fall for this. This is the part we fall for. You see that, Minister P?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we fall for. We fall for this and this. We see Black and we see members of the religious minorities. But now understanding, look at the trick bag. What that say right there, Minister P?
Yeah.
See, this is the fine print that we don't read. That's the fine print right there. Now, how are they underserved? What you do behind closed doors, it has nothing to do with me.
Exactly. But listen, they're going to throw all of that in there, in the pot, you know. Listen, until we become empowered enough to speak up and distance ourselves from that, then we're involved in it.
Yeah, and that's the sad part.
That is the sad part.
Yeah, we latch on. You know, when here you see our name, they just say Black. You see Black first, right? And that's what we should be geared towards, because that's what we are. Now, we're supposed to be out front because we're the underserved community, but then we end up becoming the last and latching on to this garbage. That's how backwards we get. We let them stand out front and we say, well, we'll latch on to you. Again, people, we're talking about uniqueness. This is not unique here. This is just something that you chose to do in your private, again, people. Nothing against, and we're hearing it all through the airwaves about somebody speaking on, and wasn't even negatively speaking on this group for the most part. But here's the gag order ministry that I talked about that's put on Black folks 100% of the time, whether you're in court or out. You have a gag order. You say nothing to the contrary of what is put here. You go along with it. And then so we skip down to here, and then here they give you some more fluff. underscores refers to population sharing in particular characteristics such as geographical communities. Well, last time I checked, how come your name doing? We don't own. They miss marketplace. Marketplace is not even in here. So moving on, it has systematically denied full opportunities. Marketplace and aspects of. There go that word again. That's the most important word right here. Forget all this crap. This is all this right here, Ministry, down here. This is crap. That's all crap. The most important word we need is right there. I don't care nothing about socially getting along with nobody. Who cares? You either gonna like me or you're not. So socially, I'll go along with distancing. Please give me 6 feet. See, since they put it out there, I'll practice social distancing. And then what we practicing right now?
Absolutely.
So give me that and let me get my economics on. Give me my social distancing. Get away from me. But this is part of this democratic shield foolishness mess. And it's sad, Minister Speaker, because you would think as a Black people, we would come together as fingers do. You would think that, being all what we've been through, but we are the only people that split. I mean, you look at amongst whites, you have a few liberals that'll play a game, but that's even dangerous because they'll show you a set of keys to the unlock the door and won't give them to you. So, you got to be careful of that. So, but the most divided aspect of people is referenced to when it comes to talking about politics is us. And people have seen our weak. They found the dent. They found the dent in our shield, the weakness. They found that we've been our armor has been dented.
And what is that weakness?
We have no solidarity amongst each other. and a lot of it, if you ask me, a lot of it, of course, still has hunted us. That slavery aspect has hunted us up until now. We still are hanging on to tribalism. Every ism that you can think of, we're hanging on to, instead of dealing with the problems that we have at hand, to say, okay, hey, we went through slavery, right? All right. Aspect that we know we went through slavery and what happened, and even what happened aspect after slavery. What was the benefits that we gained from that? And then when you start balancing out the scale and figure out that you haven't gained much, then you could start saying, well, hey, all this time we haven't really gained much, then why are we still in the predicament that we're in? Why are we still trying to fight up out of this hole that we're in? And then here's my question, Minister P. Now, look at these groups here, right? All of this, we'll go right up into this group here, since they want to be called a group. This group, these groups, this group, even some of these groups that's not like our religious groups, right? But call themselves that. Where were they when where were they doing Jim Crow? Where were they doing the Tulsa riots? Where were they doing the Durham, North Carolina riots? Where were they doing the down in Florida when they had those riots? Rosewood. Where were these groups? These are questions that we should be asking. Where are any of these groups when we go through problems now? Where are these groups to help us out?
Well, you know what? They're not here to help us out. They're here for their own agenda, just like we are to be here for our own agenda. We don't even look at other, especially these groups, as being complementary to what our goals are. So we distance ourselves from this because we have our own agenda. We're fighting, and we're fighting hard, and it's a continual fight. So these will never come to our aid.
No.
And never will. And we're not welcoming that. That's not what our goal is.
Look,
Our goal is
Minister Reed, look right here. We're not even to welcome this. Because I mean, do we have a soft spot in solidarity as reference to somebody that's in that? But that ain't our problem. Just because somebody has a disability, anybody can have a disability. My left foot is bigger than my right foot. That can be considered a disability, but so I supposed to take that into account to my suffering because one foot is bigger than the other. But see, this is here again. This is the trick bag. Because then when you start talking about persons of this with disability, now you automatically think that a person who's in a wheelchair, oh my goodness, I really got to give up all that's good get due to me because somebody's in a wheelchair or somebody's on crutches or they foot fell off or they bow-legged, cross-eyed. What they got to do with me? That's like saying that I'm gonna be concerned with the woman in Iran who's been blocked from driving a car. I can't be concerned. I mean, my heart goes out to her. My heart goes out to them, but that's not my number one plight.
Our number one plight is our community, but my heart does go out to people with disabilities.
Oh, of course.
Let me make that plain and clear.
We you're right. We don't advocate that, but at the same time, that's because you see, it's a gameplay. There's a trick there. That's that fine print again, because they just throw that in there. They don't label down to what disability. They just say, well, anybody. Again, that goes to, well, my right foot is bigger than my left foot. Right. My heart don't go out to you then because I don't know that. You know, unless you just told me that. Somebody told me that the other day, and I didn't even know it. Oh, my right foot is bigger than my left foot. Okay, you got a disability.
But look, no, that's see. Hold on, Dr. K. I mean, you know, these are classifications, and so the Black community does lend a heart and the ear to disability because we have been disabled. So we tune with that because as a community, our history, we have been disabled from the normal. Okay,
I agree.
So purposefully disabled us, and so we have a ear with that. But again, our plight is edifying, empowering, and educating our own community to rise above and get the needs that we have, which is housing, healthcare, economics, and education. And we must purposefully and consistently fight.
And the sad part, they don't even put education in here.
Yeah. They have economics and that's it.
That's right. It's like, even if that was something that we needed to gear towards, because let's just be clear, have some of our people turned away from the aspect of education for the most part, maybe a small percentage. But when you start looking at education process, everybody in the world would have to stand up and applaud the Black American. You know why?
Why is that?
Because we hold the record for the illiteracy rate. We're the only ones to come out to be illiterate at all costs, and then to have a negative against us and still come out of there learning how to read. We hold that record. And even sending people to college for the most part. I know Blacks right now who got 2 or 3 master's, doctorate. I'm one of the candidates myself, having these degrees. So it ain't about going to some university to get educated, people. It's about how well can we be educated to uplift our communities. If I go and get an education in some university, can I bring that? How can that part of that education help me to build what, Minister P? Your marketplace, and to create what? Industries.
Yeah, that's it. That's the connection right there. You said it, that sums it all up. That education, how can you now apply it to the Black community to help enrich, educate, and empower the Black community? That's what the goal is for every educated Black person out there. That's what our goals are and should be.
Yeah.
Because we're standing, but there's so many below us that are not standing. They're crippled. They're laying down. They need a help a helping hand up. And that's what the educated persons should be doing. Whatever giftings that they have, they should be using it
Now,
for the
just to
unity of the Black community.
right now, just to pause it right there, Minister P. I'm just as you talk, and I'm trying to correlate the two between the two. Here, look at more fluff. I mean, and the mania of the fluff comes here. It's like, come on. I mean, equality to what? You either up or you're down. You either left or right. You either alive, Minister P, or what?
Oh, you
Ed.
Listen, listen. Not only is it political unrest that we're going through, these are the times. But not only is it political unrest, it's mental unrest as well.
Yeah.
Because when you start getting into the merging of genders and things of that nature, that's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
However, we have to recognize that and rise above that and get our voice. Our goal, man, is to educate the Black community to see what's going on. Like you always say, become a master of words. Well, become a master of understanding those words, those fluff words, those words that they put out there as meat to draw you in. We must become aware of those fluff words.
Yeah. I mean, and so people, let's be clear. As you can see, as I'm sharing, and you be viewing this, people that's hearing us over the airwaves, this is, as you can see, Minister P, where does this come from?
That's the White House. That's the
White
agenda.
House. So people, this is not some fluff that we're reading and talking about that I just pulled out of some crate somewhere in the DJ booth. This is coming from whitehouse.gov, bona fide document that they have put out. You know, I wanted to get into that soundbite of Obama as well, Minister Pete, just to hear people just break down what was said, because you really have to pay attention to that and how it was sounding. And it didn't really sit well with me. I just want to find a small sound bite, narrow it down.
Listen, so while we're looking for that soundbite, I just really want to educate our listeners to become politically aware of what is going on around you. And remember, our needs are in housing, healthcare, economics, and education. We must realize that there is a fight going on, and there's not enough equity going on in our community, so we have to fight for it.
Yeah, we have to really dig in. Here we go. I'll start it here. I'll choose this one. Pause that for a second there. Are you able to hear that, Mr. B?
Yeah. I mean, right now I'm just seeing the ad. Yeah.
Okay, let me do this. We have to share the audio as well. Yep. Okay, hopefully.
Virginia, for the state's democratically watched and Republican countdown to Obama on Saturday suggested.
No, that's not the one because I want to let people hear the full. Here we go. Let me see. I think we catch some of it here, but we may miss I just want to get
the big message of Terry's opponent is that he's a regular guy because he wears fleece. And again, for our democracy resulted in a mob. And yet we're supposed to believe he's going to stand up for our democracy. Either he actually believes in the same conspiracy theories that resulted in a mob, or he doesn't believe it, but he's willing to go along with it, to say or do anything to get elected. And maybe that's worse. Because that says something about character. And character will end up showing when you actually are in office. When you got somebody like Terry who's responsible and serious, he's worth fighting for. So you got to go out there and show the cynics that you're willing to knock on doors for Terry, to make the calls for Terry, to tell your friends and neighbors what's at stake. We ain't got time to be tired. We don't have time to be tired. What is required is sustained effort.
So I couldn't catch and I will have to come back to it and I get the full thing. But he goes on in that Minister P and in that full speech that he made. He was talking about why he couldn't do away with the racial divide, and it's hard to deal with that, and I can't do much about that, and then he started. Then that's when he went into this part here. This was probably getting close to ending his speech, but he stated very much so that why he wasn't able to do anything about all of the we'll call it injustices that were happening. It's mind-boggling though that he shows his face again. I told you, he would not go away. He's talking as he's in office now. If you think about it, look at that. Just think about that. Because if somebody that's going to be speaking for, if I was president, I would be speaking for this guy now that's running for governor. Why are you running around the country popping up? Because here again, they're looking at us mainly. That's why they put him out there. He said, well, we need to get the black vote. So the only way to do that is we got to have Barack Obama, because most black folks still have a solidarity with Barack Obama. I don't have no solidarity for that guy at all. None. I don't support him. Oh yeah, still. Dude, don't talk against him. And when you start narrowing down and really, I'm talking about, we're researchers, Minister. These people I'm talking to, we got health care. That's all they can say. I said, so how does that benefit you now? It's not. None of the stuff that he's done has any benefit to us, especially when I told you, when he gave close to $8 billion to the indigenous Native American, and during his time in office, black folks were getting gunned down at a high rate. Still unrest in our communities. Then even further moving down in as far as when you're talking about this whole household income and race and classism, black folks moving down again. Why? Because during his term in office, he was just he was just giving out green cards left and right, saying everybody coming to the country, come on in. And these people, they're not coming here to be our friend. This is what most people are like. This is our people here again. It's the 3-card Monte being played. And we got friendship under the whatever's being used as the covers. Friendship is here. Can you see it, Minister P? I got it right here. Is it here? Or is it over here? Where's friendship? Nobody's coming here to be our friend. This is what we can't register. We can't register that. So that's why we got to continue to, to keep motivating and pushing, because again, This is not just the fight for our well-being now. This fight is our well-being. It's, again, having that, not that dream that Dr. King mistakenly had in the beginning. You know, when he started to visualize what he was talking about and started to wake up and see and visualize as well, hey, this dream that I have is a nightmare, and that's 40 to 50 years out. This won't make any sense. It was the vision that he should have had. So when we visualize out 30 to 40 years and can see that, hey, this is not going to mainly have an effect on me, it's going to have an effect on my offspring. That I'm supposed to be building that bridge for. What bridge am I building for my offspring? What bridge? What does that bridge look like? I mean, if we had to ask people, what does your bridge look like for your offspring? Just our people, our community. Let's just pose that question. What does your bridge look like 40, 50, 60 years out? If it's don't have the correct beams underneath, not going to be a stable bridge at all. We have to be mindful of our bridges that we're building, because clearly these bridges that they're building, the Joe Bidens, the Donald Trumps, none of these bridges are for you to cross over. Only bridge they solidified us crossing over and getting something out of it was the George Pettis Street Bridge with our brother, who always talking about getting his head split open like he was the only one crossing the bridge, John Lewis. And they paraded him around like he was a trophy.
So I'm gonna say this about our Black leadership. We are that Black leadership, and so we have to have a. This is the bridge. The bridge is our voice that's connected to political aspirations, economic aspirations, and in housing, healthcare, economics, and education. So the bridge that we are building are connections to these vital streams that will empower our community. And so the more we become knowledgeable of a voice, see, the past teaches us this, Dr. K. The past teaches us that there were some wrongs back there. Back there were some wrongs that was going on. Okay, so now that education, I mean, that history taught us that's wrong. Now what we're going to do about it? Well, we're going to make those wrongs not ever apply to us again. We're going to strengthen ourselves, you know, and then we're going to become stronger. We're going to last longer.
Yeah.
You know, for our legacy.
Exactly. Our legacy. And I'm going to say that again, because I've said that in private, not Obama's legacy, our legacy. I can give a damn about Obama's legacy. Who cares? Who cares? Because he got his $1 million book deals, you know, as we discovered with who we talking about before, Minister P, the mayor, Rahm Emanuel, about all these deals he got, yeah. All these paychecks he bringing in.
Still doing it.
Yeah. And I'm supposed to be worried about his legacy? I don't care about his legacy. Who cares? He's not giving me a percentage of that. So why should I care? And not going to do anything for me. So to come and ask me for a favor, sorry. What's, you know, here we are with this term again, you know, quid pro quo. That's people that term we should be remembering from now and until the next election. If we, you know, again, about doing something instead of talking about something, which we should be gearing towards is actually creating our own political party. Throw them a curveball. Whether they figure it out or not, and we put it out there, they still don't know which way we're going to go.
Right. Dr. K, so let me say this about that. That is a good option. However, even creating a third political party and not understanding what your needs are, that's a recipe for failure right there. Our thing right now is to educate the Black people, our Black community, about what our needs are. A lot of us don't even know what our needs are.
Right.
So we don't know how to speak up and ask for it. I mean, we must, first of all, create this political environment, this atmosphere that says what? It says what our needs are: housing, education, economics, healthcare. And in those four areas, wake up, wake up, wake up. We have needs in those four areas.
Yeah,
Those are the only
transportation. You know, we're gonna talk about that next time, Minister P. I'm gonna bring up there's a bill out there now that's been put on um, president's desk based on a black high rail speed system to go from somewhere around in North Carolina, not North Carolina, down to Texas. That could be stretched even further if everybody gets on that. But see, that here again, that process that's put into this administration, because as they stand now, they don't want to give this black high rail speed any type of funding or anything. They're looking to give that funding right to the same old railroad system that you see out here now, which is, we know who owns that. So now for us to get latch on to that, that's part of that as reference to what these processes that we need, economics, as reference to fall in line right with transportation. So that's part of what that's as well that's involved into our fight and reference to our push.
right.
But so now I ask you this question, Minister Pete. So let's just say the people had an idea of what they may want, and neither Blood or Crip said that they were going to do that or do anything for you. Do you think that it would be okay to say, well, if I know what I want and I've presented it to them to either side, and they are looking to do nothing about it, is it safe to say that when this time does come to vote, should I just stay at home?
Let's put it like this. Would you rather go outside nude, or would you rather go outside with the pants on, or just a shirt? Well, I'd rather go outside with either a pair of pants on or a shirt, as opposed to going outside nude. So I want to get something. So I want to use my vote to get something.
So now you're saying something. So this is where we are now. What are we getting? Let's say something. We're getting something. What is the something that we're getting right now?
Well, look, number one, we have gotten justice reform. There's certain bills. There's the Floyd Act.
You got to read. We're gonna go through that again. You got to really. That's another paying attention to. That's fluff. Yeah, but we'll go through it so we can get an understanding.
So we got that, and then of course we got the politician that just passed away, his bill. We got that. So we're getting something. Listen, again, I'm going to use this analogy. Would you rather go outside nude, or either gain some pants or a shirt? Well, I'd rather gain something. And
okay, so I'm gonna say this and to answer your question. I would rather go outside nude. You know why? You know why? You know why?
Well, my brother.
Because in somewhere in that aspect, somebody's gonna pay attention, right? And they're gonna say, well, there's something going on. So now we have attention of people. Not saying that I'm looking for attention, but then there's a process in saying, well, hey, now people are thinking, well, he's outside nude. Most people may check, well, wow, one, he either got locked out, two, there's a problem inside the house.
Absolutely.
Right? Or three, mentally, something must be going on.
Right.
So now that is going to ensue what? Help.
That's going to ensue, what'd you say?
It should ensue help.
No, it's whether that's the case. That's going to ensue you being arrested, man.
Well, that's true too. But again, that may be some form of help though. That could allude to some form of help.
Right.
Now to come out with some pants on and say, oh, this guy here, he trying to flex his muscles outside with no shirt on. Oh, he got You know, if he came out with a shirt on with no pants, you may have to underwear or some shorts on. You know, that can go back and forth either way.
Right.
But if I came out completely nude, then again, people will start thinking.
Right.
So and again, I'm not telling anybody on how to do things, but we're the only group that has been divided amongst voting. Right? We had the biggest aspect of voting. Nobody really needs our vote anymore. Think about that. Just really study that and sit down. The next show we're gonna go into that and see the percentage of the black vote, and we're gonna really strategically narrow of where our vote is counted. For the most part, it's not counted anywhere. I'm being real honest, and in my research, and I'm gonna show the people why not. Because if it was, these are here again. We're talking about these acts, right? George Floyd. Right. Let's look at that. Well, if I can jog my memory, we've had an incident happen almost 30 years ago. It's a brother named Rodney King. I mean, they couldn't come up with something then. We had to wait till 2021 to get a George Floyd Act.
That's
Fluff.
Unfortunate.
That's very unfortunate. So that's what I'm saying. Well, but again, it means what? Just all ease up a little bit, but then. So now when we start getting down to the real talk, we got that. So let's say that's one check. We got that. Now let's the two checks. Where's our marketplace?
Yeah. Gotta keep fighting.
No plan for that, but they'll give you a George Floyd bill. There's nothing in there in the George Floyd bill that's saying that, hey, you, Minister P, you, Dr. K, are gonna get a marketplace so you can put your people back to work. So we don't have any incidents like the George Floyd.
Absolutely.
So here again, what's the title of our show? Political unrest. That's one of those symbolic so-called victories. Symbolic. Doesn't it? Because it has nothing in it that is valuable. There's nothing valuable in the George Floyd Act. There's nothing that you and I can pull out of that that's going to benefit our families. Financially.
Financially, no, but it will benefit us culturally, because that means that chokehold that you wanted to do, that you had the okay to do it, it's okay, man, do it. You can't do that now.
Well, okay, because, so you know what they're going to allude to, because I've worked in this field. Well, we'll minimally tase you now. So it's we giving up one thing, we'll take another. See, that's why I say that has no weight. It's one of them weightless symbolic victories that we got. It has no weight to it. Okay, fine. We can't use a chokehold anymore. Okay, whatever. Next time, if you really a threat, I'll run you over with the car. Well, and then right. So they'll turn around and say, well, I couldn't choke them, and I had to use excessive force. See?
Right. But see, this is where our voice comes in. This is where our voice is so important. You keep doing that, and we'll keep doing this. We're marching towards victory, man. I mean, that's just it. I'm seeing clear victory. I'm seeing hope down the stretch for us Black communities through shows like yours and others like ours. We're seeing there are some victories. They may be small, but there are victories. You know, I'd rather have a victory than not have a victory. And
yeah,
so
I agree with you.
We're moving forward.
I agree with you there. But having
these
victories, yeah, it's a battle, and it's sad that we have to be 60 years out still battling. We've seen so many of our greats leave up out of this realm and not see any adjustments made, and they give us these false movements. The George Floyd Act, the Civil Rights Act, acts now. They try to change the terminology and call them a law and all this. So it's, again, people, master words. Well, we are coming up on our time to get up out of here. Please tune in to our dear Minister P tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. at Love at Work Ministries. And, we will get back in tune with our open forum. I think we're going to switch to Friday evenings. But at the same time, our dear sister Jay Reese's been out dealing with some personal, but she'll be back at her show on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Definitely get her back in the swing of things.
Yes.
The Fresh Air Show. I definitely. So we could, if that's the theme in the speed, and then we're gonna get up out of here. But these people, please, as hearing us is so great. We definitely want to stay current in reference to being heard, so we can educate our people properly.
That's it.
We invite you to donate to Cash App KTSE Media. It's all one word. That way, that could solidify us to be still continue to come up and give our people research and the knowledge base that they need. And also, it possibly can move in a direction to where we are able to put ourselves in a position to where we have power to. I mean, as big of a group that we are, you would think that we would have our own party, and people, everything that moves, they would have to come through us. Again, people, I said that word before, unique. It's only one unique aspect that's walking this earth right now, and you're looking at us because we're the things that has happened to us that have been unique. We don't carry that belt and that prize for things, the atrocities that have happened to us, but they have happened. And when you look at yourself in a mirror, you see the uniqueness. You go out of space, you see the uniqueness. There's not a reason. If we're talking about our dear God, he didn't put us here to be the only unique people walking the planet. He put us here for a purpose. People, we should act as such if that is the case. We only have a moment to be in this realm that they call physical. So your job is that's the job that you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be carrying your people over that bridge. 2 minutes, that goes right into the Bible, doesn't it? Crossing that Red Sea. That's what it's talking about, people. It's telling you to take your people across the Red Sea. No matter how you move, divide, which walk this way, walk that way, you should be still in the minds of carrying your people along the way. That's been our time. That's been our time. We went over today. But if you definitely want to tune into us and catch this segment again, there is a replay of this that happens around, I believe, engineer saying 10 o'clock. It's a replay of the show. If you missed the live session of this, you can catch us again at 10 o'clock, 10 to 11:05. You may not catch the ending, all of the ending that I had, but you can catch the meat of it, as they say, as well as you can catch Minister P being rebroadcast on after Sunday. After he goes off the air live, he rebroadcasts again at 11 a.m. 11:08 to 12:10. He'll if you missed his message at 8 a.m. He has a second service.
Yeah, tune in.
He's being rebroadcast, and then he's being rebroadcast again on Monday mornings. If you miss that Sunday message live, and then miss the rebroadcast after that, you can catch him. You can catch Minister P on Mondays at 8 a.m. the rebroadcast, Wednesdays the rebroadcast, and you can catch him on Friday mornings at 8 a.m. You can catch the rebroadcast of Minister P.
Yeah,
people, that's been our time. Tune in, because we getting ready to step into another year, and here's the aspect of changes. They're looking to put in changes into law that is going to have an effect on people, and this is what we have to pay attention to as reference to being in office, because then solidifying these changes, who's behind the person who's talking about the change, who's behind that. Those are things we need to pay attention to. Like I say, if we had our own political party, a lot of things that's happening now would not be in our midst. We would have more of a seat at the table, instead of going through what they call the Black Caucus, who may not be working for you and being working for themselves to get a prize. Understand, people, listen to this word and research this word, manutoris manumission. This is when you see certain black leaders out here, this is what they're wrapped up in. They're looking for rewards for themselves and not you. And you could take that how you want it or let it alone. But I'm just giving you what has happened in history and what is still happening today. So a lot of people are going along to get along instead of saying, no, you're not going to give $450,000 to some immigrant just coming into the country for free. And then who's going to foot the bill? That's the question we got. Mr. P, who's going to fit the bill? Who's going to foot the bill for that?
Taxpayers.
And who does that involve?
All of us.
Okay.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
I don't know how many times we're going to have to go through this, Minister P. But I guess until it sticks, because I guess the saying of that is true. I guess I am LeBron James in a Lakers uniform, getting ready to score 50 points for the Bulls. Now tell me how backwards is that?
Hey, all I can say is wake up, wake up, wake up.
All right, people, we're signing off. The host, Dr. K. Wayne, Minister P.
Minister P.
We will see you all. Well, Minister P will see you tomorrow. I'll see you guys next week. We're out.